Hi, Republican Party. I'm a straight, cisgender white woman who goes
pee-pee and poo-poo.
Seriously.tv put out a video that criticizes so-called bathroom bills and supports a transgender person's right to use the bathroom of their choice.
I'm who you're claiming to protect when you prevent transgender people from using public bathrooms.
This is a complicated issue, but factually, her statement is false. There is nowhere in the United States that prohibits a transgendered person from using a public bathroom, plain and simple. These so-called bathroom bills are essentially requiring that people must use the bathroom that corresponds with their biological sex, not their gender identity.
I don't feel threatened by trans women. Why should I? There have been 0 cases of attacks by trans women in bathrooms.
According to a story published in 1999 in the St. Petersburg Times, a transgender woman, Patty Lou Hagen, aka Patrick Hagen, attacked a woman in the bathroom, knocking out 5 of her teeth. It's hardly an epidemic, but it's still 100% more than what she's claiming.
I thought it might be helpful if I shared some of the things that you support that actually threaten my life on the daily and not just some made-up bullshit.
Since this woman is full of shit, I mean poo-poo, let's examine these concerns that threaten her on the daily.
Things like closing down domestic violence shelters and resources.
When? Where? Could she be any more vague? My guess is that she's referring to the United States federal government shutdown of 2013 that affected federal funding to domestic crisis shelters. It's not that they were singled out. The shutdown affected just about everything that depends on federal funding. So it's a pretty disingenuous statement.
Repealing Obamacare.
Yep. Republicans are currently in the process of not only repealing the Affordable Care Act, but replacing it with what they hope will be a better alternative. Perhaps the world's greatest healthcare plan of 2017. Also, am I the only one bothered by President Obama when he would refer to the Affordable Care Act as Obamacare?
A lot of you have been enjoying new benefits and protections that you didn't have before, even if you didn't know they were coming from Obamacare. So they don't like Obamacare in theory. Those are the benefits of Obamacare.
Just imagine if Trump referred to the ACA replacement as Trump Care. People would call him a narcissist and act as if the world was ending. Although not as much as when Trump was elected president.
It has to be a joke. I do not believe this is happening. I'm literally about to fucking kill myself and I'm not kidding. You better fucking fix this shit right now.
Opposing the Violence Against Women Act.
The Violence Against Women Act of 1994 was up for renewal in 2012 and was opposed by conservative Republicans for additional language that they didn't agree with, as well as other language that was thought to be at odds with existing laws. But ultimately, it was again reauthorized in 2013. The renewed act actually expanded federal protections to gays, lesbians, transgenders, Native Americans, and immigrants. I should point out that the House of Representatives that passed that bill had a Republican majority.
Playing fast and loose with women's healthcare by allowing their employers to decide what their insurance will cover.
I believe that she's talking about how the Supreme Court ruled that forcing companies to cover certain contraceptives for their female employees was unconstitutional. I am of the firm belief that people should not have their birth control subsidized by their employers or the feds. Keep the government out of my pussy. If you're that concerned about cost, get your male partner to contribute to your birth control.
Refusing to acknowledge that our justice system notoriously fails victims of sexual assault on every level.
Really? Really? On every single level? That's literally impossible. I think it's fair to assume that she's referencing the case of People v. Turner. Brock Turner, a student at Stanford University, was found guilty of sexually assaulting a woman who was intoxicated and unconscious. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison and was out in 3. After public outrage of the seemingly light sentence, the state of California passed 2 new laws expanding the definition of rape and imposing a mandatory 3-year sentence. By the way, the laws were passed unanimously by both Democrats and Republicans. The icing on the cake is that Brock Turner, who is one of the most notorious men in the United States, will have to register as a sex offender every 90 days for the rest of his life.
Allowing husbands to sue their wives for getting an abortion?
Sorta. This is a bill that passed in Arkansas that will allow a man to sue a woman if she aborts the fetus after 14 weeks. It's not in effect yet, and quite frankly, the law will probably be struck down in court because it's a little insane.
Defunding Planned Parenthood, making it harder for women to get reproductive health services and cancer screenings.
True and false. A House bill has been introduced that would strip all funding to Planned Parenthood, nearly $550 million, unless they stop providing abortions. The legislation would redirect that money, as well as provide an additional $235 million to 13,500 community health centers nationwide. Planned Parenthood isn't going to budge on the issue, and with a Republican-controlled Congress, defunding is going to happen. As for making it harder to get cancer screenings, outside of clinical breast exams, HPV testing, and Pap tests, Planned Parenthood does not do biopsies, ultrasounds, or mammograms. In other words, they do not do cancer screenings.
Deciding that someone who's literally bragged about sexually assaulting women should be our president.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
It was pretty clear that it was a joke, and there hasn't been any proof that Donald Trump has ever grabbed a woman by her genitals. Was what he said vulgar and offensive? Yeah. Was it a real thing that happened? Probably not.
Supporting lax gun control laws that allow even known domestic abusers to exploit loopholes and illegally purchase guns.
100% not true. In an effort to close a dangerous loophole, the Supreme Court ruled that people convicted of domestic abuse are not only prohibited from buying guns, but prohibited from owning firearms that were purchased before the conviction. And with that, I think we're done here.
Paid for by the Society of White Cisgender Women Who Go Pee-Pee and Poo-Poo.